Professor Irfan Habib Sahib, Mark Ekar Sahib, members of the Congress Working Committee and senior colleagues, distinguished academicians, civil society leaders, leaders of the Congress Party and its frontal organization from across India, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen. I am delighted to be here this morning for the inauguration of this national conference being held as part of the celebrations of the 125th birth anniversary of Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, the first Prime Minister of independent India. I am very happy that over the last 1 year, the 125th birth anniversary of Pandit Ji has been celebrated in various functions in different parts of our country. Nehru was not just India's first Prime Minister. He was a great visionary, a great scholar and architect and builder of today's republic. Definitely synthesizing the values, the worldview and aspirations of one of the oldest civilizations in the world, with the cutting-edge global political and economic ideas and institutions such as universal adult franchise, democratic socialism, as well as the new age science and technology. Nehru ably translated the vision of the freedom struggle into an institutional and organizational reality for 1/6 of humanity that lives in our country. This was an historical achievement of epic proportions. Nehru's contributions of action and thought spanned practically every field of human endeavor, ranging from nation building, economic and social development, democracy, promotion of scientific research, foreign policy, agriculture, cultural diversity, social harmony, and the uplift of underprivileged and backward communities. Nehru was a humanist and an internationalist and a champion of the post-colonial world. He was a man of great compassion and love, the foremost disciple of Mahatma Gandhi, the father of our nation. His services to India and to the world at large will be remembered for all time to come. Jawaharlal Nehru is a kindred spirit for the youth of today. Like today's youth, the ever-youthful Jawaharlal Nehru was irreverent and demanding in questioning given wisdom and knowledge, had the same thirst for change, the same insistence on individual freedom, the same demand for social and economic equality, democratic voice and power over their own future, the same opposition to established power structures, the same rejection of blind faith and superstition, the same reverence for science and technology, reason and rationality, and the same infinite confidence that the people of India can and will build a new India free from the fear of war, want and exploitation. As the most erudite, experienced, modern, liberal, democratic and global leader India has had in Jawaharlal Nehru. Nehru's values offer a most appealing platform of globally accepted liberal ideas on which the youthful India can march forward with confidence into the future. As we look to the future, it is clear that Nehru is re-emerging as the center of gravity of Indian political thought, especially in the post-global financial crisis era that has once again restored the need for an effective role for the state in advancing the common good. The effort of the last 12 months to remember, honor and celebrate the life, values and legacy of India's first Prime Minister should not end this month. The last 12 months should be indeed the beginning of a continuing discourse on the founding values of our republic, which are so dear to Jawaharlal Nehru, and an unending struggle to defend those values. Ladies and gentlemen, a nation is not made just of brick and mortar, or of guns or steel. Gold in its coffer does not make a nation. A nation is in its essence, its values, its lived values. The true strength of a nation lies not in the brute force of the state, but in the robustness of its values and the strength of its moral character. India, then, ladies and gentlemen, is in its essence a set of values that inspired and guided our unique freedom struggle and are enshrined in our constitution. Swaraj, commitment to truth, non-violence, compassion, justice, liberty, equality, dignity, fraternity, and unity in diversity. Any erosion of these values can only weaken our nation. I would like to briefly comment in the contemporary context on some of the foundational values of our republic as identified by Jawaharlal Nehru in the objective resolution which he moved in this Constituent Assembly. Freedom, ladies and gentlemen, is a foundational value that lies at the heart of the Nehruvian idea of India. It is widely known that freedom feeds the soul and the heart. What is less appreciated is that freedom is also essential for sustained economic development. The unimpeded flow and exchange of ideas is essential to build economic prosperity. As has been said by a wise person long ago, there is no progress without opposition. The prerequisite for innovation, for entrepreneurship and competition is an open society and a liberal polity where individuals are free to pursue their ideas. Suppression of dissent or free speech poses a grave danger for economic development as well. There can be no free market without freedom. The nation, ladies and gentlemen, is deeply concerned at the recent tragic instances of blatant violation of the right to freedom of thought, belief, speech and expression in our country by some violent extremist groups. The assault or murder of thinkers are no more than disagreement with their views, or because of the food they eat or their caste cannot be justified on any ground, nor can the suppression of the right to dissent be allowed. All right-thinking persons in our country have condemned such incidents in the strongest terms as an assault on our nation. Jawaharlal Nehru's great concern was also with advancing the cause of equality and equity in our country by uplifting the oppressed masses and wiping every tear from every eye, a phrase that Jawaharlal Nehru had coined as a description of the mission of Mahatma Gandhi, but equally applied to Nehru's own life. Disagreeing with approaches that blamed the poor for their own condition, Nehru said the discovery of India, and I quote, "The backwardness or degradation of any group is not due to inherent failings in it, but principally due to lack of opportunities and long suppression by other groups. Therefore, not only must equal opportunities be given to all, but special opportunities for educational, economic and cultural growth must be provided to backward groups so as to enable them to catch up with those who are ahead of them. Any such attempt to open the doors of opportunity to all in India will release enormous energy and ability and transform our country with amazing speed. This Nehruvian mantra has always been to create a dynamic economy that opens up opportunity for all, locally, nationally, and globally, and generates enough fiscal resources for government to guarantee special opportunities for educational, economic, and cultural growth of backward groups. A strong union government proactively promoting social and economic justice through direct intervention where necessary, an effective planning mechanism, as well as a strong, democratic, honest and efficient public sector fulfilling social responsibilities out of reach of the excluded and the marginalized are central to the Nehruvian vision, as well as for promoting sustainable and inclusive growth that does not accentuate inequalities and disparities. Unity and respect for diversity, secularism and pluralism are vital for the survival of our republic. Delivering the 21st Jawaharlal Nehru Memorial Lecture on November 13, 1989, the then Prime Minister, the late Shri Rajiv Gandhi said, and I quote, "We in India are inheritors of a great historical experience in organizing a multilingual, multi-ethnic, multi-religious, multi-caste, multi-regional society. The global village has to learn from our experience the basic lesson of how humanity is to live together, not in segregated states, but as one human family." Unquote. To maintain and strengthen the rich diversity that is our Indian Republic, we must maintain unvarnished our ancient civilizational commitment to respect and honor and appreciate diversity, pluralism, and communal harmony. Ladies and gentlemen, Secularism is an article of faith for the Indian Republic. Secularism protects the fundamental freedom of every citizen to profess faith, belief, and worship of his choice. All religions are equally respected under the Indian Constitution. Religion is a private matter in which no one, including the state, can interfere except to the extent necessary to protect the freedom of others. In a secular republic, no religion can become the basis of public policy or governance, nor can any religious belief be imposed on anyone. Peace is essential, not only for human existence and survival, but also for economic and intellectual growth and development. Capital is likely to be frightened away by forces of dissent and their operation. I am therefore especially happy to note the theme of this conference, no peace without freedom, no freedom without peace, derived from the powerful last sentence of Jawaharlal Nehru's epic work, The Discovery of India, in which he says, looking forward to the future, as he ends his book, and I quote, there is going to be no peace in India or elsewhere except on the basis of freedom, unquote. Inaugurating the Asian Conference, New Delhi, 3rd March 1947, a few months before our independence, Nehru repeated his emphasis on peace and freedom, saying, and I quote again, peace can only come when nations are free, and also when human beings everywhere have freedom and security and opportunity. Peace and freedom, therefore, have to be considered both in their political and economic aspect. In his historic tryst with destiny speech, delivered at the midnight hour, when in Jawaharlal Nehru's word, India awoke to life and freedom, Pandit said, and I once again quote, peace hath been said to be indivisible, so is freedom, so is prosperity, and also disaster, in this one world that can no longer be split into isolated fragments, unquote. The timeless insight of Jawaharlal Nehru that there will be no peace without freedom and no freedom without peace is as fresh and relevant to the world in 2015 as it was when it was written half a century ago. Peace and freedom have poignant depth and meaning for my generation, the generation that lived through partition of our country, that incomparable holocaust of hatred in which both peace and freedom were lost for so many people. It is necessary for all people to support the Nehruvian idea of India as a liberal, secular, social democracy to now come together and join hands to preserve and protect the integrity of our republic. Ladies and gentlemen, I am extremely happy that a very distinguished gathering of thinkers and doers committed to liberal, democratic values of our republic, to which Jawaharlal Nehru dedicated his life, will be meeting in this conference today and tomorrow to exchange views and start the process of developing a common agenda for action. This is indeed a moment in our history that all right-thinking people should come together and prove their wisdom, their knowledge, their experience to defend the core values of our republic, which are now threatened. I am sure your discussions will be extremely fruitful and they will provide direction and strength to the struggle to counter and defeat the counter-democratic and authoritarian tendencies that are rising in our country. What greater tribute can there be to Jawaharlal Nehru than that over half a century after his passing, the central stage of Indian politics is still reserved for him. That not a moment passes when his ideas are either celebrated and sometimes opposed also. What greater tribute can there be to Jawaharlal Nehru in this, the 125th year of his birth, than a rededication by the people of this country to the struggle to which Nehru devoted his whole life. With these words, ladies and gentlemen, I am very happy to inaugurate this national conference. Thank you and Jai Hind.